Good evening, you're with Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. Viewers, a controversy has erupted over Shah Rukh Khan's franchise KKR buying a Bangladesh player for 2026 edition of IPL. During the IPL auction on the 16th of December, KKR had bought Bangladesh pace spearhead Mustafizur Rahman for 9.2 crore rupees. This made Rahman the most expensive Bangladesh player ever in IPL history. But KKR's buy has run into a political controversy now, with former BJP MLA from Uttar Pradesh Sangeet Som targeting Shah Rukh Khan over it. Som has cited killings of Hindus in Bangladesh to brand Shah Rukh Khan as a traitor. He says that while on the one hand Hindus are facing atrocities in Bangladesh, on the other hand Bangladeshi players are being brought in IPL for crores. Few sources have told Times Now that it is the BCCI which is the official organizer of the IPL. All decisions with regard to inclusions and exclusions from IPL auction pool is taken by BCCI itself. Hence, it's the BCCI which is responsible for the presence of Bangladesh players in the auction pool. IPL franchises are free to bid for international players who are present in the pool. So isn't this the former BJP legislators' outrage, which appears to be misdirected at the moment? Opposition leaders, however, have hit back at Sangeet Som, saying that it was wrong to target him and that politics shouldn't be brought into sports. Sample some of these reactions.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी के नेता संगीत सोम के द्वारा आईपीएल खिलाड़ी बांग्लादेश को बहाना बना करके शाहरुख खान पर निशाना लगाया जाना ये कहीं से उचित नहीं है। कला और खेल को सीमाओं के अंदर नहीं बांधा जा सकता है और जिस तरह की राजनीति इस मामले में की जा रही है ये कहीं से उचित नहीं है।
BJP is a party which only knows to divide people based on communal lines. They have no growth story to show, which is why they always use religion, language to divide people. Now, instead of bringing politics into sports, they should focus on providing governance.
मुझे लगता है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को बेमतलब की राजनीति करने की आदत है। अभी पाकिस्तान ने जब भारत के साथ दुर्व्यवहार किया तो आपको पैसे मिल रहे थे खेलने के लिए तो सारे मैच खेले गए और अब आप शाहरुख खान जी ने जो एक प्लेयर खरीदा है उससे आप हल्की राजनीति करते हैं।
Now, there are also some BJP leaders and its allies who have disagreed with Som, saying that no one has the authority to issue certificate of patriotism to anyone else.
देखो, किसी को भी जो है वो राष्ट्रभक्ति का, किसी को भी जो है वो नेशनलिज्म का प्रमाण पत्र देने का जो है वो ठेका नहीं देश ने दिया है। इस तरह के नेशनलिज्म का प्रमाण पत्र बांटने की कोशिश किसी को नहीं करनी चाहिए।
अब वो चर्चा में बने रहने के लिए सोम जी तरह तरह के बयान देते रहते हैं। वो राष्ट्रीय मामला है। अब वो जो उससे संबंधित लोग हैं वो उनका विषय है, वो देखें।
Now, there are religious figures who've also weighed in on this matter, while spiritual leaders from the Hindu faith have echoed what Som said and have demanded answers from the BCCI. The All India Imam Association President Maulana Sajid Rashidi has questioned their outrage. Listen in.
कोई व्यक्ति इतना निर्दयी कैसे हो सकता है, जो कि एक टीम का मालिक भी अपने आप को कहता है, वो कैसे इतना निर्दयी हो सकता है कि उसी देश के क्रिकेटर को अपनी टीम में ले और बहुसंख्यक हिंदुओं को उस देश में जहां 80% से ज्यादा हिंदू हैं, उस देश में क्रिकेट लीग में अपनी टीम रखे और उसमें बांग्लादेशी क्रिकेटर को ले आए, जो क्रिकेटर उस देश से आता है जहां बहन बेटियां जलाई जा रही हैं, उनके साथ दुष्कर्म किए जा रहा है।
All right, let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us is Nikhil Chandwani, author. We also have Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, with us. Vedam Jashankar is sports journalist, joining us. Also with us is Khaliqur Rahman, leader of the Congress party. We have Kishore Tiwari, political analyst, joining us. Let me start with you first. Nikhil Chandwani, why should Sangeet Som called Shah Rukh Khan or anyone for that matter a traitor? If the purchase has happened as per the extant rules of the BCCI and there is currently no ban on Bangladesh players, playing here in India, why is he being targeted in this manner?
So first thing, I don't agree with Sangeet Som, the BJP leader. I don't agree with him. But I also understand that it is primarily the duty of our government to take a stand against Bangladesh and if needed bar Bangladesh players from even entering the IPL auction window. I believe that. But there is a serious crisis that must be understood before judging that restraint. Indian government, it is forced to tread carefully with Bangladesh because Hindu there are in effect being held hostage. One reckless diplomatic step can trigger immediate retaliation on the ground. There will be more lynchings, more temple attacks, and more innocent lives lost as per the history. That's what history teaches us. Foreign players have kept an anti-Indian, anti-Hindu puppet in Bangladesh who is punishing Hindus using all his might. That really cannot be ignored. This is precisely why a Bangladeshi player was probably even allowed to remain in the auction pool. It was not out of approval, but out of strategic caution to avoid provoking further violence against an already vulnerable community.
Okay. It's a vulnerable situation. I get your point. Let me take that question across to Kishore Tiwari. Just a second, please. We'll come point by point. Kishore Tiwari, it's a very sensitive situation. Even today, there's a Hindu who's been targeted in Bangladesh. KKR has been forced to jump into a pond, we are told. And the situation is this, that if the government takes as a government any particular step, that can possibly have a backlash there in Bangladesh, which could have a real impact on lives. Do you agree with the argument coming in from Nikhil Chandwani?
No, we are having a very strange relation with Pakistan, with Sri Lanka. China is encroaching there. And Bangladesh, where China is doing the investment, and we have very bad relations. I think one should not fuel this thing. Mustafizur Rahman is a very good player, and in order to make a cricket free from the politics, I think the entry of Mustafizur Rahman in IPL by KKR is a welcome step. I am giving you exact the situation demands. People want to see the better cricket and best cricket, best entertainment, and this politician brings politics in that, and nobody takes them very seriously. In fact, in BJP itself, people are saying that they cannot issue the certificate. If you look at the body who include the players for a auction, there is Amit Shah's son is there. So BCCI officially take a stand. That is a different thing. But I have been watching.
No, should the government take a stand or not take a stand? What is your point?
No, government should not take a stand. Politics should be allowed to be with the diplomatic relations. And in Southeast Asia, it is an important country, and their neighboring nations are very important to them. We have lost a good relationship with Pakistan and Sri Lanka.
That is, I'm not getting into the diplomacy aspect of it, but certainly Vedam Jaishankar, there is a point that is being made by Kishore Tiwari, that it is ultimately in the hands of the BCCI. It's one thing for the government to come up with a policy, but the BCCI can also come up with a policy as far as, players from Bangladesh are concerned. That policy does not seem to be there. There does not seem to be any such instruction at the moment. Why is that the case, Vedam Jaishankar?
Yeah, Mother, the same argument can be thrown back. Sir, a few years back, there were Pakistani and there were Bangladeshis in the pool, but nobody bid for them. The franchises had decided in advance that they would not bid for them. So I don't understand why they had to bid. I can understand why the franchises pushed the price up. They must have sensed that, SRK was... KKR was desperate to get a Bangladeshi face there so that, they could get all those various Bangladeshi supporters are also onto their side. So I can understand them bidding, and they knew that they could keep on pushing the price up and try to empty KKR's purse. That's perhaps the reason why it went on for 9.2 crores. But what I can't understand is, what do we getting one player across to a Bangladeshi for what? Things are not ideal. You might say that sports should not interfere, but you look at every other place, even right now, Russian players or Russian athletes are not allowed in any of the European events or Western events. Earlier for apartheid also, they didn't allow South African players anywhere. So when we look at these kind of things, we are taking, only India is taking the moral high ground. For what? So that others could ride roughshod over us. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I think the right thing would be to tell KKR that they should give up this Mustafizur Rahman and that money they can use to buy some other player. They can still buy some fast bowler. There are enough fast
This is
bowlers.
unfortunate.
Kalikur Rahman.
This is unfortunate. This is unfortunate.
What is unfortunate, Kishore Tiwari?
Saying he is advising Shah Rukh Khan. He should advise Amit Shah's son, who is in charge of the BCCI. Why you are?
Amit Shah's son is not in charge of BCCI. Please understand.
Let me.
Sir, there's a difference between ICC and BCCI. Mr. Kishore Tiwari?
No. BCCI is organizing IPL. Try to understand.
And what is Jai Shah in BCCI?
No, he is the international authority and Jai Shah.
He's the ICC head, sir. He's not the BCCI head.
No. I am not. This is the thing that officially we have decided not to play with Pakistani in India. We have been playing with Pakistan outside, and in the World Cup we will be playing with Bangladesh also. So why Mustafizur Rahman should not be included? I want the cricketers as they have their own time.
Come on.
So what do you want? You want the India should not win the World Cup? Kishore Tiwari, we should not play Bangladesh, Pakistan. We should not try to win the World Cup, according to you.
No. I am of the opinion that in order to make a smoother relationship, Mustafizur Rahman's entry to the IPL should not be taken as a objection by a ruling party.
Quick response from Vedam, then I go across to others.
No, I can't understand why it has to be only on our part. See, there are two sides over here. There is a Bangladesh side and there is an Indian side. So if he is saying we should do all the concessions, what does Bangladesh do in return? Nothing. No, I think that's a wrong thing. If you look at Mustafizur Rahman, you have to give him protection in every single city, every single match, and not just during the matches, even before practice and other things. So it makes no sense you're playing in a tense situation, an IPL game, where everybody has to be relaxed. It's an entertainment industry.
Kalikur Rahman, end of the day, you can't compare, of course, World Cup matches or ICC events with what is happening over here. It's a purely private event, it's a Indian Premier League at the end of the day. So the problem that Vedam Jaishankar has, of course, even I would say that Sangeet Som dubbing anybody as a traitor is going one step too far. But there is a question about why this player is coming and playing in India at a time like this. What should be done? Should the BCCI be intervening?
Madhu, actually, first of all, I don't actually agree with my co-panelists, especially because, see, as far as the cricket is concerned, it's a sport, and sport should not be, mixed with the religion or with the politics. So, and then there has to be a policy matter by the government of India, and then the BCCI is there, which conducts these tournaments, and then there is no clear-cut policy of the BCCI. Then someone coming out from the UP and ex-MLA who, just for the sake of gaining the publicity, calls Shah Rukh Khan a traitor. And on what basis? I mean, is he trying to just, spill the poison in the minds of the people? And I mean, this is something which is ridiculous, I would say. I think such people should, be taken into custody because they are the people who are trying to divide the very fabric of the, very secular fabric of our country. So the expression of, freedom of expression does not mean that whatever you want, you can speak to that. But here, I don't find anything wrong what Shah Rukh Khan has done because there is no such, guideline which says that the Bangladeshi player cannot be taken because, first of all, the sports and the religion or the politics should not be mixed. And if that was the thing, then why the Indian team, played against Pakistan in Asia Cup in Dubai? I mean, even because at that time, where was the policy of India?
Kalikur Rahman, I agree with you to one extent that perhaps Sangeet Som has gone too far. Nobody should be dubbed a traitor. No Indian deserves that. But the point being made by some of the panelists is this. You can come and take the moral high ground that sport should not be mixed with politics. But the reality is very different. Vedam has already explained why. Will you, for instance, be okay if tomorrow players from Israel come and play in the IPL?
I mean, see, absolutely, yes. I think there should not be any objection to that.
There should not be.
Yes, absolutely.
You will never object to players from Israel.
Cricket should be seen just as a sport, as a game. Politics is different. Religion is different. When a player is coming and playing, he's coming as a sportsman. He's not coming as a Muslim or a Hindu or something like that. Why are you trying to give a
Lokesh
color of the
Jindal,
religion to the...
I want Lokesh to respond to that. Lokesh, player is coming as a sportsman. He's being bought on the basis of his talent, not because of the religion or nationality. Respond to that, Lokesh.
Yes. Madhav, before I answer this question, I would like to make one thing very clear. You cannot compare IPL to international cricket. IPL is administered by BCCI. International cricket has ICC as the administrating body. And it is BCCI which has to take the call as to who will be the cricketers participating or eligible into the IPL. And when you have the name Indian Premier League, Indian included in IPL, so there is very much going to be politics involved in it. So, I mean, BCCI, although it is a non-government body, but still there is the word India in it. And any country where anti-India sentiments are prevailing at that point of time, cricketer or any individual from that country should not be associated with any event, any form of a sports that is organized, administered by India. For example, even ICC, it has banned Zimbabwe, Zambia, Brunei and various countries for not complying with the basic norms. Zimbabwe in 2019 was banned because there were no democratic elections. It was being stated that the state functions in an anarchy and there is constant interference with the sports. It was banned. So at this point of time, the better course of action should have been that the Bangladeshi player should not have been allowed to be brought into the IPL bidding, and that bid should not have happened because it takes away the entire spirit.
So who should have done that, Lokesh? Who should have done that, the BCCI or the government?
Yes, the BCCI. The government has no role in the functioning of BCCI. In fact, we have already seen that the BCCI acts autonomously, and it is not brought under Ministry of Sports or any regulatory agency. And so it is for the BCCI, it must make sure that...
BCCI says that for security and other concerns, they go by the policy of the government of India. Even in the recent case of Pakistan, this is what BCCI said on record.
No, BCCI has a set of several separate statutes, especially with respect to administration of IPL. But then there are certain public sentiments and I would say ethics involved in it, whereby the BCCI ought to take a moral stand considering the prevailing situation in Bangladesh. I would say that it has to rise above certain, forms of limited understanding of the game, and has to understand that the game means more to the Indians as well when we are talking about IPL. So I would not be happy cheering for a Bangladeshi cricketer and cheering for a national whereby anti-India sentiments are prevailing.
Khalikur Rahman, respond to that. He would not be happy cheering for a Bangladesh cricketer on Indian soil. At the end of the day, that is a sentiment that is being expressed by a lot of people. Of course, some of the, as we've discussed earlier, some of the statements that have been made are quite objectionable. But at a time when these incidents, unfortunate incidents are taking place in Bangladesh, this is the optics that could have been very easily avoided. Khalikur Rahman.
See, the government of India should come out with a very clear policy and instruct the BCCI. We are no one here to decide who will come and who will play. And it is individual's choice whether he wants to cheer some player or not. That he cannot impose on
How
others.
is it an individual choice?
Absolutely. When the government of India is
Vedam just told you that there is a pool of players that's picked by the BCCI. And in the past also, Pakistan and Bangladesh players have not been picked. So why are they being picked at this point of time?
So, I mean, there is no clear guideline by the government of India, by the BCCI, though BCCI is an autonomous body. But in previous incidents, we have seen that the BCCI, in fact, has followed the guidelines of the government of India. There is definitely an anti-sentiment.
But Khalikur Rahman, are you okay with the fact that a person who comes from a country where the head of that government, the temporary head or whatever it is of the government, Mohammad Yunus, says that seven sisters should be separated from the rest of India, should be subsumed in a greater Bangladesh? Are you okay with the position?
Mustafizur Rahman is coming as a player. He is coming as a sportsman. He is not coming as a politician. He is not representing any political party here. So that's the reason. That's the point to be understood. If that is the thing, we have to fight with the BCCI, not with against Shah Rukh Khan or against someone else. Why don't we have the courage to fight with the? Because BCCI has become a totally commercial body. They all look at the TRP because they know that the Bangladesh gives a huge TRP. Because of that, probably the BCCI has not taken any decision in that regard. So, I mean, why when
has Bangladesh started providing TRP? I don't know what you're talking about in this case.
Absolutely.
How is Bangladesh providing? Nikhil wants to respond to you on that. Nikhil.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm allowing your point. Let Nikhil respond to you, please.
Yes, sir. Sports do not exist in a vacuum. IPL franchises, they thrive on Indian money. They are thriving on Indian emotions and Indian patriotism. With that privilege comes accountability. A unified refusal from all the franchisees would have not endangered any life. It would have strengthened India's moral position while keeping diplomatic channels intact. Silence of our government, it might be strategic, but participation in that auction and picking up a Bangladeshi player is endorsement. And endorsing an player from an anti-Indian, anti-Hindu country is something which is not morally correct. It's not morally correct. And KKR is not criticized because who owns it? I don't agree with anyone who calls SRK a traitor. The argument is dishonest. It is lazy. KKR is being criticized because it chose to pick a player from a nation that has reduced millions of Hindus to living hostages, a state that repeatedly fails or refuses to protect its minorities. The issue is the religion of the owner, sir. The issue is moral responsibility.
Okay.
No team should have picked a Bangladeshi player, and our government is right now silent about the atrocities in Bangladesh because there's election in the next 2 months.
All right, the jury's not out yet. Who's responsible? Is it the franchisee? Is it the BCCI? Is it the government of India? Because in the absence of a clear policy, is this something that is acceptable? Certainly, of course, personal comments around individuals are very distasteful and unfortunate, but it is happening at a time where there are some serious concerns about the events unfolding in Bangladesh. What really should be the roadmap ahead? We leave it to you viewers to decide. Nikhil Chandwani, Lokesh Jindal, as well as Vedam Jaishankar, Khalikur Rahman, Kishore Tiwari, thanking all of you for joining us this evening.